The Storz & Bickel Venty is hands down the best battery-operated portable vaporizer on the market that I've ever used, that I've ever looked into, and thanks to the TGA, you'll probably never get to own one. Guys, you might remember my video about the vape ban last year. A lot of you actually started following me around then. Honestly, I picked one of these up just before the ban, and it is fantastic. I originally used one with Christina McMullen from Oz Canna Reviews, and I thought it was pretty good. I didn't froth it. We used it in the podcast. You can go check that out. And it wasn't hitting for me. And then I got one, and man, does it hit. It really hits. G'day, Fab Gang. Welcome back. I'm your friendly Aussie bud, Joe LaGrassa, and today we're talking about something that's been requested a lot, the Venty Vaporizer by Storz & Bickel. So, the Venty is the latest Powerhouse from Storz & Bickel. It was released like a year or two ago, and it's had a few problems, but fundamentally, this is the company that brought out the Mighty and the classic Volcano, and the Volcano turned 25 years old this year. Crazy. That thing is still being sold. It is actually an incredible feat for a product to stay that relevant for that long with, you know, so many vaporizers having been created. I just want to talk about why I actually really like this vape. First, incredible vapor production. I love getting big clouds. I'm sure you do too. You know, like we all grew up smoking bongs or smoking joints or whatever. You know, maybe not all of us. Some of us are new patients, sure. But clouds are cool, and vape clouds, you know, it's sometimes with other vapes, you get like a small cloud and it doesn't feel like you're getting as high, but you are, but you know, whatever. It draws well. It has really good airflow. Mine's a little dirty and it could be a little cleaner and smoother, but it's still really very smooth. You can control the airflow and basically just close the hole a little bit or more. I just keep it on max. It's best at max. Right? You get good clouds for a little bit of suction, but fundamentally it heats up in about 30 seconds from cold. You can double tap and you can have it preset to go up however many degrees. I think I have mine to 15, and then another double tap and it hits it out at max at 210. Really cool that you can do that really quickly and it heats up so well. Easy twist top turn, just like the Mighty. Really, really nice. Pack your herb. Same sort of screen system as the Mighty vaporizer. There it is. Have a little look, you know. It's a nice mouthpiece. And I think it's really quite a great piece. Pretty easy to clean. It's shit like the Mighty. You got to take apart the plastic, put it in an ISO and, you know, do all of that, but it's pretty easy. Easier than the Mighty, I'll say that. Feels good in the hand. Battery lasts probably about an hour, like consecutively. USB-C, pretty dope. And it has an app. I've used mine for about 130, 40, 50 hours, I don't know. And I love it. I really do. The main reason is when I'm out on the go, right? I love my manual vaporizers, right? I love my Bistrato and I love my Convector XL from Camouflage. These two things, awesome, right? But when you're out and about, I don't have my inductor, right? I love this thing. I keep it on the coffee table. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the Camouflage review. This thing is awesome. I don't have it out and about because it needs power. If I want to use a lighter, I look like a junkie. I don't really like using a jet lighter to light up one of those things. It's a bit much, right? So I don't like that. The Venty, it goes well like I used to use the Mighty. The battery lasts long enough that I can actually get the use that I need. It takes dosing capsules, which is pretty sick. And I don't know where they've gone. We've got dosing capsules, right? And they work. The Mighty's ones work in the Venty. It's pretty cool. So you would have just put it in, and then I've got herbs in there that I still want to consume, but you can pop that in and turn it on. You know, they're fantastic. And then there's accessories for those. And let me show you a newer accessory that you might not have seen. And this is a prototype. This is the RooTube 2.0, right? So this is a joint holder tube, but the smart fellas at Grindaroo have included as an option 8 dosing capsules that fit inside your dew tube, right? Or your RooTube. This thing can hold 2 joints because it's quite large. You put them in, you know, kind of sideways, and away it goes. So cool little piece. And having those capsules preloaded with your herb, really nice. If not, sometimes I just keep my grinder on me and I have the herb chopped up or whatever, and then I just kind of put it in and off I go. Let's talk about the main thing this video is actually about. How about that? Why can't you get your hands on this great vaporizer. Like, why can't you? 2 words. Vape ban. Vape ban. So, for whatever reason, the TGA made a big mistake when they were banning the nicotine vapes from, dodgy tobacconists. They wanted to ban those, start making vapes prescription only, and, this is a weird form of prohibition. And amongst that, they started putting in dry herb vaporizers, and they wanted it all to be ARTG listed and approved and gone through the rigmarole of getting it all tested. That test costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there's lots of vape companies that are much too small to spend that much money to enter the Australian market. Mostly because these companies are not medicinal companies and they're not charging exorbitant amounts of money for the vaporizer, right? So this vape is probably about a $600 Australian sort of vape, right? Towards the end, it was getting down to 500, and that was because it needed to go. It's not cheap, but it's not medical pricing, right? So the Mighty Medic exists in Australia, and what the Mighty Medic is basically just a regular old Mighty with the fucking logo slapped on top of it, that it is higher quality than the Mighty, but when people open it, it's the exact same. But what's different is that model has been tested and has all of the documentations for all of its bits and pieces being compliant to whatever fucking standards are needed. I don't want to knock the standards, I'm just saying that fucking a lot of money has to be spent to get something that I can inhale. Here's the thing. These vape bans are dumb, but there's vapes out there like the Vestrato and the Camouflage that are not battery operated and don't have a coil. So as a result, they're technically not a vaporizer. Great option. So they're still available, but actual battery powered vapes, for the most part, have been reduced to pharmacies. So you have to buy them from a pharmacy. So guys, if you're looking for a vape, a new vape, there's pharmacies that are starting to stock them. They might not have the range that your old head shop, like a friend Indeed, would have had, but they are starting to stock them. Australian Vaporizers is now moved into a wholesale model, and they're helping stock pharmacies. So, basically the whole industry has been flipped. A lot of people have lost a lot of jobs, a lot of money, and basically can't operate anymore. And they're doing what they can to move into the pharmaceutical industry and supply that industry with good vape knowledge. And quite honestly, it is needed because these things are pretty complex. They're not just a turn it on and use it sort of device. They're just not. So why is it that you can't get the Venty? Why is it? So the real reason is Stores and Bickle, because they have those medical devices, will not release this into the market because they are trying to control the medical market and dominate that here. Canopy Growth, this massive company that owns Stores and Bickle and Spectrum Therapeutics here in Australia, Spectrum brought medical vapes into Australia under their brand VaporMed. They were the main distributor for a long time, like the Mighty Medic, the Volcano Medic, and all of that stuff. That changed a little more recently. They are no longer the only distributor, but here's what's happened. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars getting the Mighty and the Volcano approved for the medical market. So from their perspective, why do they need to spend another chunk of money to get the Venty certified when they're already making money off of the Mighty Medic? It's kind of just business for them, right? They've got medical devices here already approved and selling, so there's literally no reason to bother with the Venty. But this is what pisses me off, and this is where it gets dodgy. Because the same parent company owns both the manufacturer and the distributor. They've built themselves a monopoly. They control what vapes get made, what vapes get certified, and what vapes actually make it here to market. So if they decide they don't want to bring in the newer, better devices like the Venty, there's nobody who can do it. We're stuck with whatever they feel like giving us. And what really shits me about this is Stores and Bickle were selling Venties here in Australia right up until the vape ban, knowing full well they weren't going to support them afterwards. Think about it. They've got Spectrum and VaporMed here handling all of the medical stuff. So they absolutely knew what was coming with these regulations. They knew they weren't going to put the Venty through the medical certification, and the ban was coming. They kept selling them anyway. So now you've got all of these people who bought Venties, like me, and when they break, and they do a bit, you're screwed. No warranty support, no ways to get parts, nothing. They basically took people's money knowing full well that they were going to leave them high and dry. Pun not intended. That's what really gets me about this. It's one thing to make a business decision about not certifying a device, but another to keep selling it when you know you're not going to be able to support your customers afterwards. That's pretty shit, honestly. And I think they can do better. So what I kind of want to say to you guys is get a vape. Get them soon. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe the good ones will be gone. If you want a Venty, I do have a couple ways for you to get them. You could probably get around customs if you ordered it overseas and brought it in from a non hectic company that's very well registered with our import department. You might be able to get it in. Can't promise anything. It's a risk, but it could come from New Zealand. The problem though, if you were to go down that path, is the warranty. These things have a 30% failure rate on launch, maybe more. They break a lot. And that's one of the other reasons Stores and Bickle don't want to do it, is because that's a problem in a pharmaceutical context on another level. But more or less, you won't be able to return this device if it fucks out. Do you really want to spend $600 and not be able to fucking get your money back or a fix if it breaks in a year? I'd be fucking mad, bro. Hi guys, I just wanted to give you a quick update. My Venty has actually died, completely won't turn on anymore. This happened about 4 or 5 hours after I recorded this video. It sucks. I don't know if I get this as karma for gloating about how this is a great vape, but anyway, this sucks. The easiest way I reckon it is to get one, and I'm not saying do this, but it would probably be to go overseas somewhere you can get one, buy it there, and just come back with it. It'll probably just slip through, you just say it's your vaporizer or your medical device. Yeah. If you want something as powerful as this, there are actually a couple options. The Airizer Solo 3. I want one. I need one. If anyone wants to send me one and I'll review it, please. Love it. The Airizer Solo 3 I really want because it has a on-demand mode. And what that basically means is it heats up a lot quicker. It heats from the bottom and kind of gives you a huge conduction up. And you can finish your bowl in just a couple pulls, if not even 2, 3, right? Really heavy. And then alongside that is the Tiny Mite 2. It works pretty much the same way all the time. Pretty awesome devices. I've always really liked Airizer as a company. They give you heaps of accessories for free when you buy your product. The 3 includes a water pipe attachment so you can plug it into a rig. Fucking love it, right? It's just good value. And then Tiny Mite 2, I believe that was developed in, I want to say Sweden or Finland. I think it's Finland, and it's a small team. Really good work. They kind of helped pioneer a heavier hitting vape. Battery dies on it a bit quick, but you can put new batteries in, which is fucking cool. But the thing about these ones, they're not really ARTG listed, so they could go away too. But there definitely are pharmacies I've seen with them being stocked. And I think it's well worth going after one if you're interested in getting a good vape to get off the bongs or the joints or whatever combustion you're doing. There are the loopholes, like I mentioned. If they're not battery powered, they might be allowed to be sold. You might be able to pick up some ball vapes even. They're technically not a vape because if you think about it, it's a coil, it's a head, there's so many bits. It's that's not illegal, that's not illegal, that's not illegal, but all of the things together may be illegal. I don't know. So bit weird, gray area. I don't want to put out any kind of weird information. I'm just here to tell you kind of what I've seen. So anyway, I'm sorry you guys can't get this vape. For those that do have one, how much do you fucking love it? Or did you get one and you didn't like it? Let me know. That'd be cool. I'll keep trying to keep you up to date with what's going on with vapes. Honestly, it's a hard space. It's really sad. The fact is, so many people are starting to get off the bongs, and now it's definitely turning the other way because there's no option. I've been hit up for people asking me about how do I get a bong or where do I get bongs from more than I have been vapes. And normally it was the other way around. I really want to put this out there. This is causing more harm than anything. The TGA's regulations around these dry herb vape bans have ruined businesses and have actually caused health outcomes to be worse. So, I don't know. Bong on, I guess. Fuck. Until next time, I'm enjoying my Venty. Have a good time. Stay lifted, stay informed, and stay humble. Always stay humble. Thank you.